Luis A. Romero, any wrestlers you have or had legitimate heat with, ever been in a real backstage fight?
I'm sure there's been guys that I've had heat with over the years, you know, but...
Right. You're in a different place now, we know that.
I think everybody loves RVD. No.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
RVD loves everybody. If not, then fuck them!
Well, I'm going to tie into this next one. Ramsey from Montreal, in your timeline, the history of ECW 1997, in timeline, Sabu spoke about your personality and said that you can sometimes come off as a bit of an asshole, even though you're not trying to be one. Let's look at this.
Van Dam too. You know, a lot of people thought he was an asshole, but that was just him. After you understood him or got to know him, you realize that's just him, and he's not acting, and he's not trying to be an asshole. He just kind of seemed that way.
Would I have thought you were an asshole if I ran into you in the ECW locker room?
Oh, back then? Yeah, probably. I think I was. Kinda. I wasn't into, like, I wasn't spiritual yet. I wasn't into positive energy, and that, like, totally changed my perspective and my relationship with the universe, which, where I'm at right now, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so grateful and love life, and I love that I motivate people with my energy. Back then, I was looking out for myself more. I mean, Sabu and I, we had each other's backs. And when I first got to the ECW dressing room, whatever Sabu said, that was fact to me. He was my mentor. Right. So he'd go, those guys are the shits, those guys are the shit, you know, the Dudleys are the shits, the Eliminators are the shits, they think they're really good, but fuck those guys, this guy. And he would say, like, none of these guys, you know, had really been anywhere except here, and they all, like, tell each other they're great, you know. And when Sabu and I wrestled each other the first time we came back to the dressing room, that was the first time I'd seen, like, everyone clap, and it kind of freaked me out. I hadn't seen that, and I didn't know what it was about, and I was just, And I kind of nodded, and I was saying, what are they doing? He goes, they're just, like, they're showing respect, because, like, they think, because, you know, we had a hell of a match, you know, and they, like, really appreciated it. And I was like, we didn't do anything, because that was, like, the way that we would go all the time in Detroit and Indiana, Ohio, and I didn't know that this match was really special, and they made me feel like it was, and so that gave me the perspective, and Sabu would say, you know, you and I are the best guys here, we're on top. So it was like, okay, you know, and I was a bit of an asshole, probably, you know. I wasn't trying to make friends with anybody, and that was a time when I was a heel. So I came into ECW to wrestle Sabu, who was God to those fans, and I beat him, and I was a heel, and so I was trying to get into that, and I enjoyed it. You know, this whole thing is a heelish move. They would say, Sabu, Sabu. I'd do a jumping, spinning fucking leg drop or something, boom, and I'd say, what's that? Don't you mean RVD? Yeah, and it was, the whole thing about that was a heel. I'll always remember from that time period in ECW, a fan, maybe like 5-6 years ago, told me that I had made an impression on him way back in the early ECW days when I was a heel. He said that I was walking through the lobby towards the elevator at the Travel Lodge, the shithole that we used to stay at. And he said that when I went through there, he said, hey, RVD, can I get a picture? And he said that I said, sure, bro. And I kept walking and said, take a picture of my back. But he loved it. He said, dude, that was so awesome. And, you know. Yeah.
Well, all right. In the same interview, Sabu tells a story about beating up a fan that was heckling you who had Down syndrome.
Fuck.
This can't be true.
Because one time Van Dam, I think it was in Pittsburgh or somewhere, this one fan, he had Down syndrome or something, and he said something to Van Dam. Van Dam went over to him and ripped his shirt and punched him, but Van Dam didn't know the guy was mentally challenged or something. And the guy ended up suing ECW, and Van Dam felt bad about it. But the guy was calling Van Dam out, and Van Dam went over, ripped his shirt, and beat him up a little bit. But he didn't know that the guy was, you know, was handicapped.
All right, what's your side of that?
Okay, sadly, 2 stories come to mind. Yeah, one was with Billy Kidman, unrelated. Sabu wasn't there. It was a Greg Price show. And what Sabu's talking about, though, I don't think that he had Down syndrome, but he definitely, you know, was a special dude. I don't know, but I didn't punch.
Well, as most wrestling fans are, but there was nothing obvious about his look that would have indicated to you that he was handicapped.
And I really don't know if he was handicapped, but he very well could have been. I don't think that he was, but he might have been slow. But what happened, it was in Allentown. He's gonna buy this. So we should put him over because
he did the job, but he put up a good fight. I'm sure.
Believe me, he wanted us to talk about him so bad. I'll put the motherfucker over right here and give him what this is what he wanted. He wanted this so bad he sued. And he didn't just, here's what, okay, so, Allentown, I'm a heel. Bobby Duncan Jr.'s in the ring. I'm on the floor with my back to the guardrail, and I'm backing up telling Bobby Duncan, blah, 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 blah. And I get this water dumped on my head like this. Maybe the bottle made contact with me. I don't know. We'll have to check the paper for that. Boom. But I turned around and I grabbed the guy. The times were different. They really were.
Make sure my mic is still on.
Test,
all about the production.
Test,
I'm fine,
2,
but
bam.
the mic is on.
So mic check. Mike, is this thing on? But so I turned around and I grabbed him, and then I realized there's this dude that he was like really scared, and he wasn't going to attack me. So I said, well, I'll get some heat, here. And I said, security, kick this fucking guy out here. And this motherfucker with the ripped up shirt and the spit on his face. I was kind of trying to provoke him, but I could, but he wasn't biting, He was brave enough to pour water on me. But then at that moment, it was kind of over. So he was kind of like part of the show. Yeah. But I did feel at the time that I was under attack, I would have, even trying to get heat, I don't think I would have security kick a ticket buyer out unless I did feel like he had crossed the line, and that did happen a lot. But anyway, what happened afterwards, though?
No, the Kidman story you said, too.
Yeah, but let me get to this. The
guy,
so this was during the invasion angle when ECW was on Raw, and then I was on Raw, I was an outsider because I belonged to ECW. But on the ECW show, I was an outsider because I belonged to WWE. This Mark believed that I actually really was under contract with WWE as Mr. Monday Night. So first he sues WWE. And they just pay him. They don't want to look into it. It's not worth their time and shit. Give him like $5,000 is what I heard. Boom, to go away. Then he sues ECW. And I had to go and get this deposition and fucking go to Allentown on my time off. So he got, some fucking revenge having me do that and shit. But then afterwards, he would show up at the shows around Jersey and Philly with a sign that said, I sued RVD. And by the way, dude, RVD paid nothing. None of that. Just so you know, asshole. No, seriously. I'm not a negative energy guy. No, but I don't wish him any harm. But that is really what happened. And he was a opponent back then, and he hasn't done anything to change my opinion of him yet since I haven't seen him. So he doesn't touch a real positive. But no, it was in court. He said that I picked him over my head. I spun around twice clockwise, once counterclockwise, slammed him into the guardrail. Yeah, but anyway, he got some money out of it. The Billy Kidman thing. So that would happen back then. Someone yanked my ponytail really hard when I was in the crowd, and right when I turned around, all I saw was one figure going back and two figures closing in, like an Indiana Jones fucking stomp thing, and I dove, and I went between and went bam, and they go, whoa, he's special, and I went, oh, and I shit my pants.
Right.
Gave him some t-shirts afterwards, he was okay.
He was all right?
Yeah.
All right.